on the Q30 Newscast. Vehicles and buildings at Quinnipiac are rebranded with the new school logo.
And a new multicultural suite is added to the Student Center to accommodate all different groups on campus. And a political update, since America has inaugurated a new president.
All this and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast. Good evening and welcome to the first Q30 Newscast of the second semester. I'm Carrie Golden.
And I'm Mike Iozzo. Members of the Q30 News Department tried to interview various employees of the Department of Cultural and Global Engagement regarding the statement that Executive Vice President and Provost Mark Thompson sent to the university community regarding Donald Trump's latest executive order. But sadly, they were unable to attain any comments.
Upon receiving this email, many students have voiced their opinions regarding the president's orders and what it means for students.
On Friday, January 27th, an executive order by President Trump titled "Protecting the Nation from Foreign Terrorist Entry into the United States" went into effect, banning immigration to the U.S. from 7 predominantly Muslim countries. This sparked protests throughout international airports all around the country, displaying the disagreement of the public with this action.
I think it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not a huge Trump fan, so I think most of the stuff he does is ridiculous.
It's un-American. It's idiotic. It really divides us, and the whole point of America, I see it, is to bring us together, and that's obviously not doing that.
Upon reviewing the executive order, we support the 90-day travel restriction on the citizens from the 7 countries that President Trump stated, obviously with some exceptions.
I think it's unethical. It's like the most ludicrous thing that he could have done because, for example, even with Syria, like they're literally in the middle of a crisis right now and we were harboring some of their refugees and you're turning the door on people who literally need the help.
You see America as a land of opportunity, and I understand that you have to take precautions against terrorism, but I think just turning someone away based on their religion is a pretty extreme stance to take, especially in the first week of your presidency.
The reason why we support this is because the 7 countries were selected previously based on President Obama and his national security team. We believe that allowing the United States 90 days to assess our vetting process for people coming to the country from those territories is definitely more than fair.
This has affected many Americans, both here and in their respective countries, not allowing families to unite and even affecting members of our own Quinnipiac family.
There are people I know in my communities who are affected by this. It does hit pretty close to home. I have friends who are Libyan, I have friends who are from Iran, and I know that there are a lot of students who are from other countries who are a little fearful about the status of their student visas.
I'm Mike Iozzo reporting for Q30 News.
Sick of politics? Well, the news just keeps coming and it's just as controversial as before. We have more updates on the Trump administration and some international affairs.
We'll toss it over to John McMahon, who has our full political update. John?
Thanks, guys. Newly appointed Secretary of Defense General James Mattis will visit Japan and South Korea, the United States' closest Asian allies. Japan has a clear message for the United States. They are equal partners. Tamaki Tsukada, a minister at the Japanese ministry in Washington, said that, quote, "We take this as a manifestation of the Trump administration's commitment to the maintenance of a very strong, robust, ironclad bilateral alliance. We are very much reassured that this is decided," unquote. Trump has cast his doubts on the alliance with Asia, but Mattis stresses their importance in his confirmation hearing, saying that they, quote, "contribute greatly to the deterrence and modifying behavior and misbehavior or those who would disrupt our global order," unquote. Mattis planned to meet with Japanese Foreign Minister, Defense Minister, and Prime Minister during his trip. Barack Obama has made his first post-presidential statement when he fundamentally disagreed with President Trump's new executive order banning individuals from 7 predominantly Muslim countries on Monday. Obama backed protesters who took to the airports to defy the new administration. Kevin Lewis, spokesperson for the former President Obama, released a statement on his behalf saying that, quote, citizens protecting their constitutional rights to assemble, organize, and have their voices heard by their elected officials is exactly what we expect to see when American values are at stake, unquote. And very clearly showing Obama's opposition with, quote, the president fundamentally disagrees with the notion of discriminating against individuals because of their faith or religion, unquote. With the presidential election over and the Trump administration in full swing, only time will tell how President Trump affects our lives as leader of our new country.
Thanks, John. And speaking of protests, Quinnipiac students have recently been getting very involved politically. Many students attended protests after the election and the Women's March that happened over winter break. Most recently, Q30's own Aya Galal attended a demonstration at the Bradley International Airport in response to President Trump's executive order that banned travel from 7 Middle Eastern countries. As president of the Muslim Student Association at Quinnipiac, Galal feels a very personal connection to this new order and felt she needed to have her voice heard.
This Muslim ban is something that I strongly disagree of. I believe it's going to create more issues for our country than solving more issues. So in order to put my frustration into something productive, I thought, why not attend one of these protests at the airport. It was also very encouraging to see how many people are standing in solidarity with the Muslim community.
Starting off Sunday right, QU's Global Public Health Program will be sponsoring the 10th annual Run for the Refugees, both starting and ending at Wilbur Cross High School in New Haven. This run is to show support for refugees. Along with the run, there will be a march to also show your support. Starting at noon, come out and show your support.
As students arrived back after their winter break, they noticed a few changes around campus. The Quinnipiac bookstore had all new clothing, all sporting the new Q. Public safety cars had a new and modernized look, and the shuttles had the new logo. Additionally, all street signs have been updated, according to the new branding guide. Quinnipiac students will now have the opportunity to participate in the Inside Out prison program. With this course, students will work with student prisoners in a maximum security prison for the whole semester. The goal is for Quinnipiac students to get the opportunity to learn about the community membership around them and how it impacts the social status of others. The class meets Wednesday mornings for 8 to 11, and transportation will be provided by the school and will be leaving campus at 6:30. If you are interested in taking this course, applications are due by February 20th. Sophomores will be happy to hear that there will be less cars in Hilltop parking lot this semester. Students have been caught forging parking passes and using passes that were not assigned to them. In light of this situation, parking passes will be changing. They will be distributed as soon as possible and will be found in your Quinnipiac mailbox.
Well, unfortunately, instead of ripping those passes up and throwing them away, students gave them to other students who were not permitted to have a car on campus. So while they were helping out their friends, what they were actually doing is tripling the number of cars vying for the Hilltop lot.
It seems as though the high 30 temperatures earlier today helped melt some of the snow we had yesterday.
Kirby, give us a preview of what we can expect from your full weather forecast later in the show.
It's a bit chilly out here. There's still cold snow on the ground, but how much is that colder weather going to stick around? You need to stick around because I'll have your full 7-day forecast, including a Super Bowl weather preview. So come around on that C block and we'll see you soon.
And that's all we have for right now. Join us back after this break.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
And welcome into Studio 125.
So what? So what?
If you score 40 points in a basketball game, we all know you play Quinnipiac intramurals. We all know you love to shoot the rock.
Well, if you think that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, what I'm about to say, I guess, is going to be pretty ridiculous in your book. But I'm going to say yes, there is a controversy.
I'm getting ready to punch the ball as it lands right in front of another Monumental player.
Hello,
Quinnipiac hockey fans, and welcome to the Neutral Zone.
Definitely St. Lawrence, and I think you're going to see the test coming up real soon.
They might be having a bit of an adjustment issue without that CBS line, but don't count them out.
At High Point Solutions Arena in Game 2 of Quinnipiac vs. Northeastern Series.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Thanks for staying with us.
You have probably seen the new sign and have received a new menu in your Quinnipiac mailbox. Bobcat Pizza has changed to Falcon Pizza. Callie Keys has the story on why.
As Quinnipiac students returned from winter break, many were surprised and confused to see that the recently established Bobcat Pizza had changed their name to Falcon Pizza.
It's on the street right over there, so why wouldn't it be named Quinnipiac when the other college is like 10 miles away from us?
It feels like a piece of just QU is kind of missing now.
I don't know, I'm kind of confused. Like, why is it Falcon? What's the purpose of that? Like, what team is Falcon?
The reason we picked the Falcon Pizza is our last name is Falcon. It's still the same owners, same employees, and same food and same qualities. So there's nothing changed besides the name.
Q30 News received tips from students who said they had heard that the name change was caused due to a lawsuit Quinnipiac threatened Bobcat Pizza with. When we reached out to Quinnipiac, they declined to comment. Things are looking up for Falcon Pizza, as they plan to finally start accepting Qcash.
Probably 1 or 2 weeks we will have the machines. We're waiting from the Quinnipiac to send us the Q cards.
Although the name has changed from Bobcat to Falcon Pizza, the owners are still here and are happy to serve Quinnipiac students. For Q30 News, Callie Keys.
If you've been in the Student Center lately, you may have noticed a new wall that wasn't there before. Over winter break, construction started on the new multicultural suite, which will now be next to the Greek suite. A ribbon cutting to officially open the new space will happen Thursday, February 9th at 11:30. President Leahy and Vice President Thompson will both be attending and speaking at the event. Chief Diversity Officer Diane Ariza spoke to us previously about the importance of having this space on campus.
So I think benefit is just because they'll be more connected to have these this levels of collaboration around programming, collaboration around just catching up with each other. And it's not just for the multicultural organizations, it's to cross-fertilize with student government and other agencies that are in the center.
The WISH organization will be holding its annual benefit for the Women and Family Center. The benefit, the Vagina Monologue, is a montage of different monologues, all dealing with the same underlying theme, using the vagina as a tool for feminine empowerment. The event will take place from 5 to 7 on February 11th in the Buckman Theater, and the entry fee will be $5. Quinnipiac's very own Ireland Great Hunger Museum is ready to hire Quinnipiac students. Callie Keys has the story.
Ireland's Great Hunger Museum is now opening their doors and hopes to employ Quinnipiac students and other Hamden residents as museum docents.
Since we've opened, the executive director of the museum, Grace Brady, or myself have given all of the tours of the museum. So whether it is to school groups coming in or groups of senior citizens or Irish clubs, we've been giving all of the tours. So now we're looking to have some volunteers come in and become docents to lead some of those tours.
The only requirements for those interested in applying are that you must be 18 years old, have a commitment to the program, and an interest in both Irish history and art.
We're holding an information session on February 7th, and during that information session we'll kind of be laying out all of the requirements, but basically all of the docents will go through an 8-week training session. So those trainings are going to be on Tuesdays starting at the end of March. Those trainings will be on the collection, on Irish history, on how to teach to different audiences, on all sorts of different topics. At the end of that, the docents will then be giving practice tours, and then they'll become official tour guides at the museum.
If you're interested in applying, make sure to attend the info session and send in an application by March 1st. For Q30 News, Callie Keys.
Brooke Riley is standing by with an update on what is happening outside of Quinnipiac.
Brooke, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. There's been quite a lot going on in our nation recently, so let's get right to it. Chief Special Warfare Operator William Ryan Owens has been identified as the Navy SEAL killed in the raid on al-Qaeda, senior leaders in Yemen on Sunday. The raid, which was authorized by President Donald Trump, had been planned for months by former President Barack Obama. The intention was to seek information that could be used to prevent future terror attacks. That was carried out by the same unit involved with the killing of Osama bin Laden. 6 other service members were wounded and 14 al-Qaeda fighters were killed. The U.S. government is reporting that this year's flu season is one of the worst ever. Since October, 8 children have died, and the amount of people reporting flu-like symptoms is well above average. Over 144 million doses of the flu vaccine have been given in the U.S. so far this year. It is highly recommended that those who still haven't received a vaccine should, as it is spreading rapidly across the entire nation. Delta Airlines flights were delayed or canceled due to a systems outage on Sunday night. A waiver has been issued by Delta that says that travel scheduled on Sunday, January 29th and 30th may be rebooked by February 3rd. In August, Delta canceled more than 2,000 flights over the course of 3 days after a computer breakdown power outage. Delta Airlines is up and running again. And finally, the Boy Scouts of America announced that they will now be accepting transgender boys. The organization used to use the gender on birth certificates to identify if one could be a member. They will now be using the gender identified on the application. This will be taking effect immediately, lining them up with other organizations across the country, including the Girl Scouts. Just a few months ago, an 8-year-old boy from New Jersey accused the organization for expelling him because he is transgender. Challenging this opened up leaders' eyes and more to rethink their policies. That's all I have for you. Back to Carrie and Mike at the desk.
Thanks, Brooke. Coming up after the break, we'll have your full weather forecast.
Plus, Fifth Harmony cancels a show, A Dog's Purpose makes a comeback. Your entertainment news is on the way. Stay with us.
Coming up, coming up,
Coming up on hashtag that.
We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
It's 9:30 Eastern, and you know what that means. Sports Pause is on the air.
Ball played up the middle. Emmanuel with a little cheat off the puck.
Preseason just boils down to going after another national championship and not necessarily focusing on the one before.
MJ, it is time for our favorite part of the show. It's the top 5 plays of the week, brought to you by B&D Deli, home of the Q-Dog.
Let's talk about the first play you want to break down.
Yeah, let's break it down right away.
But the one name I'm going to throw out there is a freshman, Mika Maples.
All this and more.
Coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
And welcome into Studio 125.
So what? So what? If you score 40 points in a basketball game, we all know you play Quinnipiac intramurals. We all know you love to shoot the rock.
Well, if you think that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, what I'm about to say, I guess, is going to be pretty ridiculous in your book, but I'm going to say yes, there is a controversy.
Line, getting ready to punch the ball as it lands right in front of another Monmouth player.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us.
We have Kirby Paulson standing by outside the Student Center right now with our full weather forecast. Tell me, Kirby, there isn't any more snow on the way, right?
Well, guys, it's cold out of here. As you can see, we'll take a look at tonight's forecast. 26 degrees, partly cloudy, winds coming out of the west-northwest at 3 miles an hour. We'll take a look at tomorrow's forecast. 36, partly cloudy. Make sure you put a jacket on. Again, winds west at 5 miles per hour. It's a little gusty out here tonight, though. I'll tell you that one. Tomorrow night's forecast, 19 degrees. It's going to be clear. Winds again at the west to northwest at 5 miles per hour. We'll take a look at the temperatures out in the rest of the neighboring areas here. Stores, Norwich, Hartford, Meriden, New Haven, New London, all teetering around that 40-degree line. Once you get inland, west a little bit, Waterbury sitting at 36. But again, those colder temperatures are going to stick around, as you'll see on this 7-day forecast. If you're trying to wear shorts this week, don't. It's going to be freezing out. 40 degrees again on Thursday, 32 on Friday, 33 Saturday. Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, 38 degrees, a little bit rainy. Order your wings, don't go out, don't drive, just have them ordered to you. Monday, 37, Tuesday, 38 and rainy. Wednesday might be looking up temperature-wise at 44 with a little bit of rain. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Kirby. You know, I really hope, Mike, that it doesn't turn out to be bad weather for the big game on Sunday. You know, that would just really put a damper on the day.
It would be tragic. I don't think I'd be able to deal with that.
All right, so we're going to move from weather to entertainment. Ed Sheeran, Fifth Harmony. Tell me, Alicia, what's going on in the entertainment world?
Thanks, guys. Just minutes before they were supposed to go on, Fifth Harmony canceled their 2017 NHL All-Star Game performance Sunday afternoon. Dina Jane had been sick, but the group had a show-must-go-on mentality until right before the performance when she was experiencing unspecified pain. She left the venue on a stretcher, and the group had to cancel. This is yet another obstacle that the group has encountered since Camila Cabello decided to pursue a solo career. But not to worry, 5H fans. The girls posted on social media that they are ready to, quote, bounce back. The movie A Dog's Purpose had its own bounce back from the animal cruelty scandal this past weekend. The movie was accused of animal cruelty after a video from on-set filming was released earlier this month. The American Humane Association and the company that provided the dog trainer came to the agreement that there had been no animals harmed and that the footage released by TMZ was manipulated. Audiences took their word, and the movie came in at #2 in the box office during its opening weekend. It's an exciting time for Ed Sheeran fans. At the beginning of the new year, Sheeran returned from his long hiatus, released 2 new singles. Fans continued their enthusiasm when the music video for his new song, Shape of You, debuted this past weekend. The video takes an interesting twist, which I won't spoil if you haven't seen it already. The new single has been a hit for Sheeran, but in a recent interview with BBC Radio 1, Ed said the song wasn't originally written for him and that they, quote, sort of decided halfway through that we were just going to make it for me, unquote. As for Sheeran's 3rd studio album, we can expect the album titled Divide to release on March 3rd. That's all for your entertainment news. I'm Alicia Leo, now back to you guys at the desk.
After this short break, we will have all things new with Quinnipiac Sports with the elusive Matt Halpin.
Men's hockey, men's basketball, and more right when we come back. Stay with us.
Coming up,
Coming up on hashtag that.
we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
All this and more.
Coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
Coming up on Bobcat Breakdown.
And welcome into Studio 125.
So what? If you score 40 points in a basketball game, we all know you play Quinnipiac Intramurals. We all know you love to shoot the rock.
Well, if you think that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard, what I'm about to say, I guess, is going to be pretty ridiculous in your book, but I'm going to say yes, there is a controversy. I'm
line, getting ready to punch the ball as it lands right in front of another Monmouth player.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast.
The elusive Matt Halpin is standing by at the sports desk, ready to provide you with an update. Matt, take it away.
Elusive indeed. Thank you, Carrie. Winter sports season is in its late stages, and it's time to sink or swim for all of the Quinnipiac winter sports teams. I'm Matt Halpin with your QU Sports Report. Let's get right into it. On January 31st, the Quinnipiac men's basketball team hosted the Siena Saints. Freshman stars Mikey Dixon and Peter Kiss both tallied 19 points, while junior Chase Daniels scored 18. However, these impressive player performances were not enough to atone for the Saints' overwhelming rebound domination, which eventually led the Saints to pull away and earn an 84-75 victory over the Bobcats. Quinnipiac is now 8-14 on the season and 5-7 in the MAC. Number 10, Quinnipiac women's ice hockey hosted the number 9 Princeton Tigers at noon on a Tuesday because why not? From start to finish, the game was completely even except for one thing, the score. Though both teams mustered up 18 shots, Princeton were simply more clinical finishers. The game finished 3-0 in favor of the Tigers, but Quinnipiac coach Cass Turner was inspired by the performance and the resilience of her team. The Bobcats host Brown on February 3rd as they hope to end their 3-game losing streak. After a few days to recover from just their second MAC loss of the season against Iona, the Quinnipiac women's basketball team must look forward to the future. The Bobcats' 8 remaining games are all against MAC competition, and consistency will be the key for the Bobcats. They host Niagara, who are tied for last in the MAC, before facing mid-table Fairfield. If the Bobcats hope to retain their regular season MAC crown, they will have to win these games by a sizable margin. The QU men's ice hockey team hosted Arizona State in a rather exotic 2-game series. The Bobcats took the first game by a score of 5-2. The second game was a different story. We'll take you straight into that second game. We see here at the bank, ASU at Quinnipiac. First period now, senior captain Connor Clifton says R.I.P. If a man 195 pounds comes at you with that velocity, maybe you want to move out of the way next time. Later in that period, Joe Fiala in yellow is going to give up a 2-on-1, and come on, I could score on that one. Anthony Croston puts it past Andrew Shortridge, 1-0 ASU. Still in the first, Bronson Pakinchuk tees up and says see you later to that poor puck. 5-hole snipe on the power play, that's huge for Arizona State. Quinnipiac quick to respond in the second period though, as Tim Clifton is going to score his team leading 11th of the season on a rebound as Quinnipiac begins to crawl back. Here's the problem though, the Bobcats just could not finish. You see here, Tim Clifton's going to put another one in, but it would be waved off as he kicked it in. Now KJ Teffenworth is blocked. Now maybe Aldworth, nope. KJ again, nope. And Peeper, no. Someone burned that puck after the game. Scoring is so mainstream, as the Bobcats are about to show you, as they just could not do it. Only one more at the end of the game. They would lose 4-2 against ASU. That's going to do it with sports. I'm Matt Halpin. Now back to the desk.
That's all we have for you tonight on this edition of the Q30 Newscast. Follow us on Twitter at Q30 News and see other episodes of our show and more content at Q30television.com.
I'm Mike Iozzo, and from everybody at the Q30 family, I want to wish Carrie Golden, my lovely co-anchor, a very, very happy birthday.
Thanks, Mike. Like he just said, I'm Carrie Golden. Good night, Quinnipiac.